What is up and welcome back, and in today's video we're going to cover the rocker step. Now the rocker step is going to be very similar to the jab step. In fact, the rocker step is going to be the counter to the jab and go. Okay, when you do a jab and go, you're faking you're going this way, but you're actually going this way. Jab and go. Okay, so the rocker step is going to be a counter, and the whole time you're planning to go where you're first faking to, okay? And it's going to look like this. Then you're gone, okay? So that right there is going to be the rocker step. And as you can tell, there is this rocking motion to it. That's why it's called the rocker step, okay? But it's very similar to the jab step. So there's going to be similar elements, and you're definitely going to want to have a good jab step and then a good rocker step, because then that way you're going to become more deadlier to the defense. You're going to have them guessing, and you're going to have options, okay? So it's very important that you have both in your bag if you're really trying to become real shifty. So let's get into some specifics. So for this rocker step, you're going to want to have a very good jabbing leg, okay? And this leg is going to be very important because it is going to help you cover ground, but it's also going to sell the drive. Okay, when you're stepping forward, it's going to help you sell the drive. But definitely, if you can have a wider stance opposed to a shorter stance, it's going to be more beneficial because you're going to be further on the outside frame of that defender. Okay, so, and if you don't have the leg strength yet to be somewhat wide and take off with speed, that's okay. The most important thing about this move is you make it look realistic. So you can make it look like a drive with a short step, right? Still looks realistic, okay? And with the longer stride, looks even more realistic, okay? And that's going to depend on where you're at in your skill level and the strength in your legs, okay? But just make it look realistic that you're trying to drive, okay? That's going to be the jab and leg. And just like the jab step with the ball, you're going to want to protect the ball before you do the move, right? So if you catch it and you haven't dribbled, protect the ball right here off the triple threat. And then when you're ready to do the move, that's when you're going to show the ball, okay? And that's going to help out with actually selling the drive, okay? So it's protect and then show, okay? And showing the ball is going to let the defender, hey, I'm trying to go this way, right? And then you're going to swing it back inside, that you're changing direction. And the defender is going to notice all that. He's going to notice the ball swinging over with the leg, right? And then you swing it back inside. So he's going to think you're going back inside. Then you're going to rock it back over here, okay? And as you can tell, that right there is giving the illusion of rocking. You can see that? That's why this move is called the rocker step. Okay? But I do want to mention this disclaimer. You don't want to rock the ball so far ahead of your frame because that defender can steal the ball. Okay? And also, if you can keep it somewhat close, it's going to help out a whole lot with that ball not being stolen, and then a nice good grip. Okay? You see that? Nice good grip. And you can even hold it like a football a little bit, right? Like that, you see? Kind of protecting it like a football a little bit. So that's just going to help out with the security of the ball. So some tips with the ball movement. So definitely, if that defender is up high, right, he's guarding the shot, you can do that rocker step somewhat low, okay? If his hand is up here, his arms, do it somewhat low, okay? It's going to be the point further from his hand, from his arm. And you could get away with it with the middle ground as well, okay? Just be a little bit more careful. If he's playing the dribble, right, trying to guard your dribble, hand being real low like that, you can do the rocker step up high, like that. You see that? Where again, the ball's going to be the furthest point away from his hand. You can also use the middle ground as long as you put the ball above his hand, okay? And that's going to be up to you, right? If you feel comfortable using the middle ground, go ahead, okay? And if his hand's around the middle, you can go underneath the hand or above the hand. But most of the time, if you're trying to set up that defender, you can kind of fake a shot, right? So he moves his hand up, and then 1, 2, 3, and you're gone. Okay? So that right there is a little tip that can help you out. Or you can maybe pretend you're dropping the ball where he puts his hand down, and then 1, 2, 3. You see that? 1, 2, 3. You're manipulating that defender because you're the offensive player, right? You have the keys to the Corvette or to the Lamborghini, whatever you want to be driving, right? You have the keys to your vehicle, to where you're going to be doing. So try to move that defender how you want him to move, okay? And that's pretty much what you're doing with the rocker step, trying to shift them out of place, and then you're going to have that outside lane, okay? So we covered 2 of the main details here, the jab and leg, and then the ball placement. And now we're gonna get into some specifics, maybe some stuff you don't know about, but these next details are gonna be very, very key. So a lot of people do focus a lot on the ball and the jab leg, which are very important. But when you're flat-footed, right, you can do the jab, the rocker step when you're flat-footed, okay? But there is going to be an advantage if you're able to lift the heel of your opposite foot. In this case, it's going to be the left. You're able to lift that heel, right? It's going to give you an advantage when you're actually pushing off. Because if you're flat-footed and you're rocking like this, right? Then when you come back this way, you see how that heel's lifting up? So you can lose a little bit of time lifting that heel to come over here. Okay? If you can keep that heel somewhat elevated, right? When you're doing the rocker step, see I'm already lifting it. And then right here, this foot is already ready to push off. It doesn't have to do this. If I'm flat-footed, it's gonna have to go like this, and then I can push off. Right here, I'm already feeling the ground. So when I'm rocking, and then right here, I just push off automatically, okay? And that's a detail that a lot of people overlook, okay? So definitely try to incorporate having this foot nice and loaded while you're doing the swaying movement, okay? And also, I'm going to give you some footwork if you're trying to improve your rocker step. This is something that I don't see a lot of players practicing, right? Try to practice being in this stance, this wide stance, and being loaded on the front of both of your feet. See right here? You're getting that rocker step, but stay balanced, okay? If you feel unbalanced, that means you're doing it wrong, okay? You're kind of shifting your weight a little bit off each foot, and you're getting this kind of rocker motion, this shiftiness, and this right here can throw off a defender big time, okay? So just being flat, when you're flat, all the movement is from the upper body. Players do this sometimes, so you don't want to be just rotating the ball like that. You want to be making it look that you're really trying to go. You see that? Really trying to go, throwing it back, then I'm gone, okay? So that footwork right here, very important if you can incorporate that. This rocking motion. It's going to make your rocker step even more deadlier, okay? So moving on. So now, I do want to cover, I am going to let you know how you can count this move so you can have an idea of all the combinations you can do. So, definitely when people do the rocker step, many times they'll go 1, 2, and then they're gone on the third, okay? And that right there is going to be one of the most popular ways of doing it, but you can also get a 3 count, okay? So that right here was a 1, 2, and then you're gone, okay? So it's like 1, 2, okay? You can do a 1, 2, 3, and then come back this way, okay? That right there is going to be another option. And then the fourth one's going to be a four count, okay? It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're gone, okay? So you're going to ask me, hey, JP, which one of these is actually a lot better? Which one do you like? And the answer is going to be all of them. All of them are just as important, because sometimes on slower players, you can get them with just this one, okay? And other times on other players that are maybe more shiftier, you gotta be more elusive. In those cases, you can do the 3 or the 4. And with the 2 and the 3, you can get away with doing this, right? Somewhat slow or somewhat medium speed or fast speed. But definitely on the 4 count, right? You're just gonna wanna spam that rocker step. Kind of like NBA 2K, right? You wanna spam it just a whole bunch of times. And it might sound stupid or maybe a little silly to you hearing that, but it works real well depending on the defender. You could just spam that X button or whatever on the PlayStation controller, then just take off. That can throw off a defender. And sometimes you're not even counting, you're just going off feeling. You don't even know how many times you're rocking the ball, right? Then you go. So I know you've seen that move in the NBA as well. A lot of times players just catch it, the defender's up in their grill real quick, they just spam that ball, that rocker step, and they're gone. They're out the pocket real quick, okay? I gave you the 2 motion, the 3 motion, and the 4. And go off feeling. You're gonna get a feel for this move. The more you practice it, the more you use it in game, okay? Last detail, last one's gonna be also very key. Make sure you're mastering every section that we're talking about. This one's going to be, once you complete your rocker step and it's time to go, make sure that you're accelerating as fast as you can from point A to point B, okay? Because if you're losing that defender with the rocker step, then it's taking you time to drive past them. You're gonna let him catch up to you. You're gonna let him recover. You don't want that happening. You wanna capitalize. Once he's lost, you're gone. You're out that pocket, okay? You get him, you're gone. The opposite way, okay? And we're back, and I didn't want to leave without explaining this part. When I mentioned, it's very good to have this outside stance when you're doing the rocker step, is because by having this wider stance, you're already claiming space. You're claiming his outside frame of that player. So it's going to make it a lot more easier than when you actually decide to go. You're already further ahead, okay? And some players, they can actually lose time when they do a more narrow stance, right? They're rocking that defender and it works, but then they might do this, right? At the end of it, they might go like this. So you see, that extra step can lose time. It can make it a lot easier for that defender to catch up, especially if you're not that quick, right? You're taking that extra step when you can already be ahead. And then when you're rocking, you're already ready to go and you're going. You see that? And I'm going to give you some info that can help your IQ, your awareness. So sometimes this defender might not be in the best position. And I'll tell you how you can set this up. Sometimes it happens naturally. You'll catch the ball. Then a defender, the way he's playing you can step real nicely without them stealing the ball, get them out of place and go. But when that defender is a little bit more this way, one thing you can do to slide them back over is kind of fake a little bit that you're going this way, right? So you catch it, you fake a little bit, and then he slides on through, and then you claim that space. So there could be more towards the center, or maybe more this way. And then you rock them, hopefully you lose them, and then you're gone. So there you have it, all the key elements for this move. This was the rocker step, just as lethal as the jab step. A lot of players prefer it over the jab step. Very, very good, very lethal, very shifty, okay? So add it to your bag, be ready to store it in muscle memory. So when it's go time, it's just automatic, okay? You have a feel for it and you're gone. You're fast, you're quick, okay? So that's going to do it for this video. If you do like what you're seeing, please like and sub. It really does motivate me a whole lot to keep bringing you more of this helpful information. And we'll be back next week with more. Until then, peace.